Hold on, what happened? Hey, I can't hear you. I think you're cutting out. Just, come on. Oh. I lost you. Yes, I did. All right, imagine this scenario. The grid has just gone down. You're at work and the lights have gone out and you're not sure what to reach for first or how in the world you're going to get out of your situation that you're in. The first thing you're going to see next to you is probably your phone. It's your most trusty companion and the closest thing you've got. And there are 8 different ways I'm going to show you in the next few minutes that I would use it in the event of a grid down situation. Let's get right to it. So, very first thing, if the lights went out, I'm at work, I know where my phone is at least, and thank the Lord, there's a flashlight on it. If you have a smartphone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, and even some of the little smartwatches are made with a built-in flashlight, that may be the very first thing that you need to use your phone for in the event that the grid went down. Now, if truly we were out of electricity, probably very quickly there would be no cell service. So a few of these first things I'm going to tell you require cell service, but after that there are a number of ways we're going to use it even when there is absolutely no service at all. So first let me just say this. If there is service of any across any network that is still active and live, you have the ability to call out to, it's actually called an SOS signal that you can send from your phone, whether you have an Android or iPhone. You can send an SOS signal in any country that you're in that I am familiar with. The only exception is China, which has an even more elaborate system where it gives you not just the SOS option, but you can be specific that you need the fire department or the ambulance to come, which I think is pretty cool. The rest of us, we just are going to be able to swipe on our phones to contact SOS and get some sort of emergency system to us right away. So you need to know how to use that. Secondly, if by chance you're one of the folks that have heard that, yeah, whether you have cell phone service or not, or even a plan on your phone, you can have that phone in the dash of your car, some old used phone, and as long as you have battery juice enough to turn the phone on, you should be able to dial 911 and get some sort of help. But remember, that requires 2 things: enough battery juice to power that phone on and some sort of service in the area by some network that's still active. And that may or may not be a possibility. But if you need to get help, SOS or being able to call 911 are 2 pretty important things that you want to know how to do and actually look up on your phone so that you have that activated and available to you. All right, also, if by chance you don't have any kind of a plan through any cell phone service, you should be able to use the WhatsApp texting app where you're able to communicate back and forth to friends through text. Again, that requires enough battery power for your phone to turn on, and secondly, you do have to have some sort of cell service in the area. Even if you don't have a cell plan yourself, you still have to have some sort of cell plan that is functioning in the area. Now, what if everything goes down, which is really the most likely scenario? I've already given you a couple of ways that you can use your phone if there is still data service in the area. But if it goes down completely, yes, you can still use the flashlight, but there are 4 other ways on top of that that I want you to know about. Firstly, the compass. Some phones come with a compass already installed that is available and usable offline. That's awesome. Know how to use it, practice using that. If you don't have that automatically on your phone, go ahead and download an app. There are apps available for Android and iPhone that are compasses available offline, still usable, and you're going to really want to know how to use that in the event that you're trying to find north, south, east, or west, and you're on your own. After that, I want you to think about this. The military, almost every branch, has a survival manual that they have made available that can be downloaded to your phone and used offline. That's an awesome way to use your phone, almost like a manual itself, with all the information you would need from knots to how to build a fire, how to make a shelter, how to get home, how to stay incognito. Those are all going to be covered in that, as well as mindset, which is the very first chapter of the military survival manual and is the very most important of all things to know. So Get yourself that compass, get yourself that military manual downloaded. Also, just think about this. The camera is always going to work on your phone as long as you've got battery power. If you're on the front lines of something that's going down, you're going to want to be taking a little bit of either pictures or footage of that for posterity's sake, for newsworthy sake, for people who need to know. That's an awesome way to use your phone even if you don't have data or service. Remember this, your phone is literally like a full computer squeezed into a little tiny package that you can slip in your pocket. And in the event of a grid down scenario, you're going to be very thankful for whatever you've stored in it, and you probably won't have a whole lot more opportunity to store more. So now is the time to put on here important documents. If you've got information that your family would need, go ahead and store it on here. Pictures that are important, things that are worth saving. I love, in defense of the Android phone over the iPhone, is it does have the expandable storage. So I can literally take that little SIM card out and I've got 64 gigabytes worth of information I could covertly slip to somebody if they needed to have it. I could hide it in a geocache for myself to get to later. But just knowing that I have a full computer's worth of information that I can store on there to access later, that's pretty important. Lastly, now, you can start a fire with your phone, and that's pretty important in the event of an emergency. But I will say this, if you have an iPhone or a phone that doesn't allow you to get the battery out, it might ruin your phone. So only use this as a last resort measure. But if you've got an Android or some other kind of phone where you can just pop the back of it off and there you've got your wonderful battery, I'll show you. It's very well marked with the positive and negative charges. So if you've got, say, a pack of cigarettes nearby, or a chocolate wrapper, or maybe some gum for a gum wrapper, that's just what you need. The little tin foil on that is going to be your friend in this event, because all you need to do is get out some sort of a device or carefully tear it with your hands, but cut into very fine strips. You're going to crumple up the part that's in the middle. Get yourself some tinder and nestle it down in that tinder pile, connect it up, and voila, you've got fire. That's a wonderful way to use this in an emergency. And just in case, even the battery is so dead that it can't power the phone on and it hasn't even been able to make a fire that way, I will say this, use this last thing with very much caution. I'm not encouraging you to try this, but do keep in mind that your battery does hold within it gases that when it's punctured, it can release those gases and cause a small explosion, which could start a fire. So in the very, very worst case scenario where you're not going to be able to use that battery anymore and you've protected yourself, you could start a fire just by puncturing that battery. All right, I have told you 8 different ways to use your cell phone in the event of a power outage or an EMP or a grid down scenario where this might be your very first line of defense for what you're supposed to do next before you get home or out to the car where you have your bug out bag or whatnot. So, what ways would you use it? I would love to hear from you because I probably haven't hit on all of them, but I've given you 8. I would love to know 10 or 20. So let us know in the comments below, how would you use your phone in the event of a grid down scenario? We want to hear from you. Share this video with somebody else who it might help. Until I see you next time, God bless you. Before you go, I want to share this quick word of scripture with you. This is out of Psalm 41, and it's just the first 2 verses. It says this, "Blessed is the one who considers the poor. In the day of trouble, the Lord delivers him. The Lord protects him and keeps him alive. He is called blessed in the land, and God will not give him up to the will of his enemies." That's pretty good news. I hope you'll go and share it with someone today.